Dear panel members, distinguished attendees, ladies and gentlemen, I must start off by congratulating the organizers on this innovative setting for this conference. India's pace of growth has accelerated over the last decade, and it's almost universally acknowledged that we will replace China as the fastest growing emerging economy over the next decade. Infrastructure will be key in achieving this goal. In many ways, infrastructure is the engine oil that lubricates the engine. It allows the engine to work at high loads without seizing up. Besides internal rail and road connectivity, our ports and airports naturally become the gateway to economic prosperity in a globalized economy. Our government has created a wonderful platform in the Make in India initiative. It is aimed towards driving higher exports as well as substituting imports as we meet the rising needs of 1.3 billion Indians. Its success will depend on the development of infrastructure, in particular logistics. We need to have enough capacity to support our growth, which is available at internationally competitive prices, and which supports the need for shorter and just-in-time supply chains. In that context, I can't emphasize enough the importance of the maritime sector on the Indian economy, and particularly its contribution to achieving our growth and Make in India ambitions. India has a vast coastline of more than 7,500 kilometers, and 95% of India's trade by volume and 70% by value is done through maritime transport. Indian ports achieved a total cargo throughput of 1,130 odd million metric tons in 16-17, higher than the previous year by 5.7%. With 12 major and 200 minor ports, Indian shipping industry already plays a vital role in sustaining growth in the country's trade and commerce. There is, however, a lot of latent potential. Currently, the World Bank estimates rank India 14th in terms of container port traffic. To put this in context, China handled approximately 200 million TEUs in 2016, compared to less than half handled by India. Key initiatives like the $120 billion Sagamala project and Project Green Ports are urgently needed to address our growth ambitions. But our track record of executing infrastructure ahead of the curve has not been exemplary. 4 key elements that impact the planning and execution of such projects are the high cost of capital in India compared to the rest of the world, which makes financing projects more difficult. We need more patient capital to fund our infrastructure. We clearly need to restrict the scope of CRZ regulations to polluting industries and free up economic activity along the coasts of India. Land acquisition is a perennial problem in India. In most cases, land is the only asset of the owner, and we therefore need to be more generous and prompt with our compensation. We can also help the process by trying to locate infrastructure projects such as ports in places where there is sparse human habitation or where land is not very productive. Delays in project completion result in planned capacities getting saturated as soon as they are commissioned. Whilst the government has placed considerable emphasis on the development of new capacity and encouraged private participation in the development of ports, it should either remove the bottlenecks I have enumerated or boldly plan for 150% of the required capacity with the knowledge that some of the projects will inevitably be delayed. Building ports is not enough. In addition, we need to bolt on an efficient intermodal transport system. This is vital to the success of trade as it supports seamless movement of cargo across modes, ship, rail, and truck. The nature of cargo is expected to change from the current industrial commodity heavy shipments to container high-value goods, making productivity and turnaround times critical. Besides the 6 mega ports being developed under the Sagamala project, the improvement of road connectivity under the Bharatmala project and increase in rail connectivity will help link the hinterland with ports, enhancing the economic sustainability of such projects. Another force multiplier could be the vibrant inland waterways network that lowers the cost of moving goods and is perhaps more environmentally friendly. This is significant as only 6% of India's goods are being transported by inland waterways. The recent signing of the $375 million agreement with the World Bank for the Jal Marg Vikas project from Varanasi to Haldia, along the Ganga, is an important step forward in this regard. Besides capacity addition, speed is another key metric for efficient supply chains. Technology is a key enabler for achieving this goal in Indian port operations. Though our domestic port performance has improved quite substantially over the last decade, the Ministry of Shipping pegs turnaround times at major Indian ports at 3 to 4 days, with some outliers being as high as 7 days, compared to a global average of 1 to 1.5 days. The use of IT and automated clearances will also go a long way in improving port operations. Simple interventions like electronic data entry for vehicle details without the need of manual challans have shown about 25% improvement in various test cases. Port capacities and equipment also need to be upgraded, and the process has started with a number of ports, with Cape handling capacity also increasing from 1 port in FY13 to 5 in FY18. Though PPP models and private ports have helped improve the operational matrix, it is important to ensure enough competition and capacity in the market to keep the costs of logistics viable for Indian manufacturers. I would also emphasize the importance of developing economic activity zones around our ports. While introducing the Sagamala project, the Ministry of Shipping had mentioned that though the actual cargo handling costs for both China and India were similar, the nearby production centers in China result in much shorter travel time and transit costs to their ports. Therefore, the proposed 14 coastal economic zones are a very important facet of India's new maritime policy. Besides this, the proposed development of the 2 maritime clusters in Tamil Nadu and Gujarat would have significant cascading effects on local economies. I would like to thank the organizers, Bombay Chamber of Commerce, once again for getting all the relevant stakeholders of India's maritime future in this conference. I hope that the renewed focus and vibrant discussions here will ensure a brighter future for our ports and shipping, generate additional employment, and bring about a more prosperous economic future for the country. Thank you.